All right, today we're going to unravel a really fascinating medical mystery. We're diving into the surprising connections between a single vitamin and three, seemingly totally different medical stories: a rare genetic disorder, a common type of anemia, and even the hunt for brand new antibiotics.
So, what's the common thread here? Well, it turns out the answer is a single essential molecule that basically acts like a master key inside our cells. Let's unlock how this one little molecule pulls it all together.
Okay, so our story kicks off with vitamin B1, which you've probably heard of as thiamine. But to really get a handle on its power, we first need to get clear on a key concept: the cofactor. So what is a cofactor? Think of it like a helper molecule. It's kind of like the specific key that's needed to start an enzyme's engine. Without that key, a whole bunch of our body's most important enzymes, they just can't be their job. They're dead in the water. Now, here's the thing. Our bodies don't just use thiamine straight out of our food. Nope. It first has to be converted into its active, high-energy form, thiamine diphosphate, or TDP. This is the molecule that's actually doing all the work. So for our story today, TDP is the real hero. So what's TDP's superpower? What makes it so special? Well, it's a master of manipulating carbon bonds. Specifically, it's an expert at shuttling around these little two-carbon chunks from one molecule to another. And this one skill, it's fundamental to several critical missions all over the cell. All right, let's follow TDP on its first mission, and this is a high-stakes one, protecting our cells from some seriously destructive oxidative stress. So TDP's first job is inside something called the pentose phosphate pathway. You can think of this as a critical off-ramp from the main highway of glucose breakdown. And here, TDP's job is to switch on a key enzyme called transketolase. But what's really interesting is that the goal here isn't energy, like ATP. The really important molecule being made is NADP, and its job is something else entirely. It's all about defense. NADPH is the cell's main source of what we call reducing power. Just think of it as a molecule that's loaded up with extra electrons. It's like a tiny mobile power pack ready to go around donating those electrons to neutralize dangerous, unstable molecules that are threatening the cell. And here's its most important job. NADPH keeps another molecule called glutathione in its active, protective state. This active glutathione then acts like a cellular sponge, just soaking up and disarming these destructive free radicals, you might know them as ROS, or reactive oxygen species, before they can do any real damage. Now, this antioxidant shield is absolutely critical for our red blood cells. See, to maximize the space they have for carrying oxygen, mature red blood cells actually get rid of most of their internal parts, including their mitochondria. This means the pentose phosphate pathway is their only way to get NADPH. They have absolutely no backup plan. So you can imagine what happens if this pathway fails, which most commonly happens because of a genetic deficiency in the first enzyme, G6PD. The red blood cells are left completely defenseless. When they get hit with stress from an infection or even certain drugs, they literally burst. This premature destruction is called hemolysis, and it leads to a condition we call hemolytic anemia. So, to bring it all back, our hero molecule, THDP, by switching on that transketolase enzyme, plays an indirect but absolutely essential role in making the NHB shield that keeps our red blood cells from falling apart. Okay, let's move on to TDP's second mission. This time, it's not about defense. It's about safely managing the waste products from breaking down amino acids. So whenever we eat protein, our bodies get to work breaking down branched-chain amino acids, or BCAAs, like leucine and valine. Now, in a healthy person, this huge enzyme assembly line called the BCKDH complex safely processes all the byproducts from this breakdown. No problem. But in the rare genetic disorder known as maple syrup urine disease, or MSUD, that BCKDH complex is broken. It's like the main assembly line in a factory just grinds to a halt, and that creates a catastrophic metabolic traffic jam. And the fallout from this is, well, it's devastating. Studies show that the buildup of all these unprocessed amino acids and their byproducts is incredibly toxic, especially to the brain. It triggers widespread neuron death, causes massive oxidative damage, and leads to really severe neurological symptoms.
And here is the crucial connection. BHDP is an absolutely indispensable part of this BCKDH machine. The whole complex depends on it. Without BHDP, that assembly line just stops working, which makes its presence absolutely vital for protecting our neurological health.
All right, for its final mission, TDP's work reveals a weakness. But this time, the weakness isn't in us, it's in the very pathogens that attack us. And this could open the door for a whole new class of antibiotics. Okay, check this out. Both humans and pathogens, like bacteria, need to build these molecules called isoprenoids to survive. But, and this is the critical part, we use completely different biochemical assembly lines to do it. We use something called the mevalonate pathway, while they use the MEP pathway.
Now, the very first enzyme in the pathogens pathway is called DXPS. Think of it as the rate-limiting gatekeeper. The speed of this one enzyme controls the flow of the entire process. If you can stop the gatekeeper, you stop everything that comes after it.
This difference between our pathways is a golden opportunity for drug design. Why? Because our own cells don't even have the MEP pathway, and we don't have the DXPS enzyme. That makes it a perfect drug target. We can design something that attacks the pathogen's DXPS without any risk of it harming our own cells. It's a surgical strike. And here is the final brilliant link in our story. This enemy enzyme, DXPS, absolutely requires our hero molecule 3DP. In order to function, by targeting this very specific 3D survive, this opens up a whole new front in the war on infectious disease. So there you have it. We've seen how one molecule, thiamine, in its active ThydP form, serves as the linchpin connecting three totally different fields, protecting our red blood cells, ensuring our neurological health, and even providing a key target for the future of antibiotics. Pretty amazing. This single molecule's journey really reveals a profound truth, doesn't it? That sometimes the keys to our most complex clinical challenges aren't hidden in some new futuristic technology, but are right there, in the elegant, ancient logic of our most fundamental biochemistry.